Hi, my name is Sarah Trimble. I'm the founder and CEO of the Job Applicant Perspective, the first anonymous crowdsourced hiring reputation system, like anonymous Yelp, in a world of professionally mandated fine dining with no health department and no FDA. So I am using this medium to try to get some of my blog posts out there. I'm pushing a paradigm shift that's pretty massive, and so it's pretty busy on the back end. So I'm trying different methods to see what I think works best. And I don't mind working recursively, improving as I go. So if this kind of style doesn't suit you, know that I have also these short little 5-minute podcast clips out there. I have a TikTok account, LinkedIn, and Substack as well. I'm kind of experimenting with what works and what I can do quickly because, again, there's so much to do. I feel like I'm ER for the job market, So I'm going to start from getting this post is directly dedicated to job seekers whose experience I think is grossly underdescribed. This post is titled, "You're not a failed employee. You're shopping in a store that hides the food." You're not on a talent show while job hunting. This isn't American Idol. You're shopping for survival, food, shelter, and healthcare, and if luck ever breaks your way, retirement. The wealthy buy financial stability and socioeconomic mobility with stocks and assets. You buy yours with resumes, interviews, and unpaid time and effort. The labor market is the stock market for the labor force. It exists without all regulation or reputational mechanisms to inform and protect its buyers. The SEC would shut it down in a heartbeat if it came under their purview. 160 million people's access to financial safety and socioeconomic mobility had all trust mechanisms literally ripped away when hiring went online. Those people and all their dependents. There is really few words to encompass the scope of the betrayal that the working class has experienced in the last 25 years since hiring went online. And the psychological trauma of being shamed and blamed for the privilege of that robbery is profound. Who this is for. If you've been stuck in an endless loop of applications, ghosting and urgent listings that never lead anywhere, this is for you. If you're a recruiter or an employer watching the signal to noise ratio collapse, this is for you too. And if you're a journalist, a policymaker, or an economist wondering why hiring feels broken from every angle, this is the structural breakdown no one told you. Welcome to the no rules marketplace. Imagine walking into a grocery store where the owner makes more money the longer you wander hungry. No expiration dates, no refunds, some aisles lead nowhere. Some food is spoiled milk, scam jobs that waste your time or steal your data, rotten meat, expired job ads, duplicated listings scraped from their job boards, empty cereal boxes, fake openings meant to make the shelves look full. The store's business model isn't to feed you, it's to keep you circling the aisles until you collapse. The rotten logic at the center of this two-sided market. At the heart of this market is a rule so old, most people have stopped noticing it. Don't talk about your hiring process. It makes you look unprofessional. It's the same energy as the old school parents saying, you don't have needs, I tell you your needs. You show up when I tell you and you perform how I need you to. That sort of thinking is not an accident. The roots of the fallacy. While I am not a hiring historian, a review of historical patterns suggests this thinking emerged between the 1930s and the 1950s, shaped by post-war conformity and the organization man of the 1950s. Is a thing from the University of Pennsylvania Press. I will never be upset if someone has better info to drop in the comments. In the internet age, I source my safety in being a committed learner, not a committed knower. It is a very impressive example of circular logic fallacy that the norm of the old school child rearing, Child can't be trusted, so therefore I'm justified in not trusting the child. Employer to job seeker as a variation of the parent to child dynamic. The sociocultural approach to hiring didn't just shape the definition of professional, it shaped the economic functioning of the marketplace itself. And it tilts the market straight into dysfunction. The structural mismatch. A market is not the business and it is not the customer. It is the relationship between them, the tension, the back and forth, the give and take. When both sides bring opposite needs to the table, the friction between them sparks something that works. A simple example. I can brew every last tea bag in my shop, but if no one wants to buy tea, I have to pivot. Likewise, person A might wish for a business that delivers brand new Nike shoes for $10, but if no such business exists, person A must adjust what they're willing to pay or buy. That's how markets correct themselves, except the labor market. Here are the usual self-correcting mechanisms break. Why? Because the logical fallacy baked into the system. Job seekers can't be trusted, so we can't trust job seekers. With that assumption in place, the labor market stops behaving like a market at all. Economists, investors, financial specialists, and more brilliant, logical business minds in every other arena start acting like priests guarding a shrine. More like that, anyway. Think pieces get written about mysterious talent shortages across the country from people who are well aware that the labor market lost all trust mechanisms for 95% of its users when it went online. People who are academically drilled in how marketplaces that lack trust collapse. The logical fallacy at the heart of the modern thinking about hiring tilts even experts into dysfunction. What we forget, we remember that employers go to the marketplace for talent, but we forget, even in academia, that job seekers go there for food, shelter, and healthcare, socioeconomic mobility. A functioning labor market is America's social contract. I work hard and my life improves. Taking the heart out of that could be considered like Maui, inadvertently turning Te into Te. When it still kind of worked, in the age of employer job listings, in the age of newspaper job listings, the system limped along despite its flaws. Employers might have felt entitled to talent, but the newspaper still treated job seekers as a stakeholder whose needs mattered. When hiring moved online, that accountability got lost. No newspaper editor clearing out the fake ads, no balancing force making sure the shelves weren't full of spoiled goods. The slow flip. It's fine if an employer thinks of job seekers partly as a thing to acquire. Not great, but it's okay. But a data point. But the second any actor in the market is allowed to treat one side purely as a commodity, the market incentives flip. The result, a market built not to get you hired, but to keep you unemployed as long as possible. And when paying rent and buying food aren't luxuries you can skip, that's not just inconvenience, it's structural harm. 25 years after those fateful decisions, and we're still living in the fallout. A fundamental reality, no matter how much the talent industry, recruiters, job boards, HR tech platforms tries to spin it, they work for you, not the other way around. They're the servers, you're the diner, you are the customer, not the food. You are the reason the restaurant exists. You cannot swipe right on paying rent. You cannot skip groceries like they're a latte. What we have now is a labor market with profit structures turned upside down. Restaurants paid whether or not they serve food, no health department, no FDA, no inspectors checking if what's on the plate is safe to eat or if there's any food on the plate at all. Fine dining without the guarantee of a meal. You deserve a better system than this. This isn't just inefficient. It's a betrayal. A betrayal. The cost of 25 years of a labor market designed this way is epic. Economic harm, psychological wear, social, emotional, civic fallout. Historians will write about it for many years. But the real question is, what do we do now? You cannot fix a market by being quiet in it. The first step is refusing to accept its lies. Validate yourself. You see what you see. You hear what you hear. It is okay for every last sob, scream, or fist on the table. You mattered before anyone noticed, while people ignored it, and when they shamed you for complaining too much. Fury is real, but it's okay. Because anger honors you and your experience. It is cover for a grief, for a harm that should never have happened. feeling that grief and sobbed as wails is ending the suffering of avoiding it. Your breakdown is not something to be ashamed of. It is sacred. Witnessing your reality honors the strength and resilience of those who endured it. This is triage as much as anything else, and it is a thing that will need to be unapologetically repeated for many years to come, and that is okay. Being dysregulated over dysregulating things is rationality, not pathology. And the child of fury and grief can be something profound. Change. Number 2, educate yourself. Here are a few starting points. Who or what are the job market ghosts? Job ads versus job posts, how the internet broke hiring and how to fix it. They're not the same. The job market isn't a store, it's a relationship, and it's broken. Knowledge sharpens your vision and makes you harder to gaslight. I have 12 other blogs before this. Feel free to read them. I have more than that now. Explore the solution. Yes, this is a blog on labor market economics, but it's also interconnected with my labor market innovation. The first anonymous Google reviews of job ads across the U.S. The job applicant perspective helps job seekers warn each other about spoiled milk, rotten meat, before anyone else wastes their time. Consider us a level of ER for the labor market. An excellent place to start, but hardly a place to finish. Innovate with others. We do not need just one solution. We need to open the door to 10,000 of them. Less slaying Goliath, more we aren't trying to kill the concept of business, more restraining Gullivers so the labor market starts working again. Constraining the structure of a system to require to bring value to its users because, again, collaboration to make the giant strength power its users when the users work together. This particular historical moment in internet marketplaces will be the example to prevent all others to never recreate it if we stop trying to find people to just blame and start trying to find out how to repair connections that create value. The internet is a web. We need to repair connections. And there are many, many, many examples to use. When you start looking at the labor market, many, many, many examples to use. A market is a market, is a market, is a market, is a market. When you start looking at the labor market like you look at Airbnb or Uber or really any economic market, there are thousands of ways to consider it. What is the health department for the talent industry? What is its FDA? You get the picture. Do we use the SEC? Who knows? Policymakers, educators, civil litigators, regulators, and innovators working individually and in tandem. If you have the next great idea to help job seekers, DM me. Let's tie those threads together. You want to see more research? I've written extensively about the collapse of the digital labor market and what it would take to fix it. There's some my research, but also other people's research. It's not just me. It is not a magic fix, the job applicant perspective. It is a trust layer, and we're building it from the ground up, one review at a time. Thank you.